My dear brothers and sisters, remember this: every hardship you face is temporary, and no test lasts forever. There comes a time when Allah, in His infinite mercy, begins to ease the burden and reward your patience. One clear sign that your trial is nearing its end is when you begin to see small blessings you had taken for granted. Perhaps a smile from a loved one, a solution to a long-standing problem, or a feeling of peace in your heart where there was once only worry. The second sign is that your faith feels stronger. Even amidst difficulties, you find yourself turning to Allah more often, praying with sincerity, and feeling His closeness in ways you never noticed before. The third sign is the easing of your inner turmoil. Your heart begins to trust that Allah's plan is perfect, and you start seeing the wisdom behind the trials that once weighed heavily upon you. And the fourth sign, my dear friends, is when you feel a renewed strength to continue doing good, helping others, and seeking forgiveness. This is a gift from Allah, showing you that the test has served its purpose and the relief is near. Never despair, for Allah never burdens a soul beyond its capacity, and every hardship carries within it the seed of ease. So hold on to your patience, keep your prayers strong, remain grateful, and trust that Allah's mercy is closer than you think. Relief is coming, and the dawn is never as far as it seems. One of the most beautiful and profound lessons that Islam teaches us is the virtue of patience and the importance of holding on to hope, especially during times of trials and difficulties. Life, as we all know, is not a straight path. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, tests every soul in ways that vary according to our capacity and our own journey. Sometimes these tests are visible, such as financial hardship, illness, or the loss of someone dear. Other times they are subtle, like inner struggles, doubts, or feelings of loneliness and despair. But one thing remains constant. No matter how heavy the burden may feel, it is temporary, and Allah's mercy is always near. Patience, or sabr in Arabic, is not simply about waiting for things to improve. It is an active state of perseverance, a conscious effort to maintain trust in Allah while enduring hardship with dignity and faith. The Quran reminds us, indeed, Allah is with the patient. Al-Baqarah 2:15-3. This is not just a promise. It is a profound truth that Allah's presence becomes a source of strength for those who endure trials with patience. When we are patient, we are not passive. Instead, we are actively choosing to place our trust in Allah, recognizing that He knows what we do not. We remind ourselves that every difficulty carries a lesson, every challenge contains wisdom, and every trial has an end, even if it is not immediately visible to us. Hope is equally essential. As believers, we must never let despair take root in our hearts. No matter how long the night of hardship feels, the dawn is always coming. Allah says in the Quran, "So truly where there is hardship, there is also ease." Al-Inshirah 94:6. This verse reassures us that difficulty is always accompanied by relief, even if the relief is delayed or comes in a form we did not anticipate. Hope allows us to keep moving forward, even when circumstances seem overwhelming. It is the spark that keeps the heart alive, the belief that Allah's mercy is just around the corner, and the faith that every struggle has a purpose beyond what we can see. In practice, patience and hope work together. Patience teaches us to endure, to avoid frustration and anger when tests come, and to maintain our ethical and spiritual standards despite adversity. Hope reminds us that our endurance is not in vain, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that Allah's plan is perfect. When these two qualities combine, they transform hardship into an opportunity for spiritual growth, reflection, and purification. They allow us to turn our suffering into a form of worship, because enduring with patience while maintaining hope is itself beloved to Allah. It is important to recognize that patience does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending that difficulties do not exist. Rather, it is acknowledging the pain, understanding the challenge, and consciously choosing to respond with faith and composure. You may feel weary, anxious, or even hopeless at times, and that is natural. These emotions are human. What matters is that we do not allow despair to dominate our hearts. Instead, we turn to Allah in prayer, seek His guidance, and remind ourselves that He is the most merciful, the most compassionate, and the knower of all that is hidden. By maintaining hope, we keep our hearts alive and open to the possibilities of ease, blessings, and growth that Allah has in store for us. The examples of the prophets in the Quran illustrate this perfectly. Consider Prophet Ayub, Job, who endured immense suffering losing his family, wealth, and health, yet he never lost hope in Allah's mercy. His patience and steadfast faith ultimately led to relief, restoration, and immense reward. Likewise, the story of Prophet Joseph teaches us that even when we face betrayal, injustice, and imprisonment, maintaining patience and hope can lead to outcomes far beyond our imagination. These stories are not just tales from the past, they are reminders that no matter the difficulty, Allah's help is closer than we think, and relief will come at the perfect time. My dear brothers and sisters, practicing patience and hope is not always easy, especially when life seems unfair or when we cannot see a way forward. But even in the smallest acts, holding on to prayer, making dua, helping someone in need, or maintaining a positive attitude, we strengthen our hearts and build resilience. These acts become sources of light that guide us through the darkness of our trials. Each day we endure with patience. Each moment we choose hope over despair. We are drawing closer to Allah, earning His pleasure, and preparing ourselves for the ease and blessings He has promised. Remember, life's tests are not meant to break us, they are meant to shape us. The more we cultivate patience, the more our hearts become anchored in faith. The more we nurture hope, the more we see Allah's mercy in every aspect of our lives. And as we combine these qualities, we begin to notice the subtle signs of relief, the easing of our hearts, the appearance of solutions, and the blessings we once overlooked. Patience and hope are not merely virtues, they are keys that unlock Allah's mercy and guide us through the storms of life. So never give up, never let despair take root. Trust in Allah's timing, hold on to patience, and keep hope alive in your heart. The test may be long, but relief is near, and when it comes, the joy and gratitude you feel will be multiplied, not only for the ease you receive, but also for the strength you gain through your endurance. One of the most comforting realities in our journey of life is that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, never leaves us in hardship indefinitely. Just as the night gives way to the morning and the storm eventually calms into gentle breezes, so too does the period of difficulty in our lives have a sign, a signal, a moment when relief is about to enter. Recognizing the signs of ease is not merely about looking for material solutions or immediate changes in circumstance. It is about attuning our hearts to the subtle ways in which Allah communicates His mercy and reminds us that our trials are nearing their end. These signs are often gentle, almost imperceptible, but when we learn to notice them with awareness and gratitude, they bring immense reassurance and strengthen our faith. The first sign of ease often manifests as a shift in our perspective, a subtle change in the way we perceive challenges. What once felt overwhelming may start to feel manageable. Problems that seemed insurmountable begin to appear solvable. The heart, which once carried heaviness and anxiety, begins to feel lighter. This is a powerful indication from Allah that He is paving the way for relief. It is His way of preparing our hearts, reminding us that no difficulty lasts forever and that perseverance is being rewarded. Even in moments when the situation has not visibly changed, this inner shift is a profound sign that the test is moving toward its conclusion. Another sign is the appearance of opportunities that were previously absent. Allah may send help through unexpected means, people, or circumstances. Doors begin to open where once there were only walls. Guidance comes in ways that seem miraculous. Solutions arrive just when they are needed, and blessings, both big and small, start to enter your life. These are not coincidences, they are signs from Allah that the end of hardship is approaching. Recognizing these opportunities requires a keen awareness and an attitude of gratitude. Sometimes, people miss these signs because they are too focused on what is still wrong or because their hearts are clouded with despair. The believer, however, sees these moments as messages of hope, reminders that Allah is in control and that relief is near. A third indication that ease is approaching is a newfound clarity and strength in making decisions. During times of trial, we often feel confused, overwhelmed, and uncertain about what path to take. But as the period of difficulty begins to shift, Allah grants us wisdom and clarity. We may find ourselves thinking more calmly, acting with more confidence, and feeling guided in our choices. This is a sign that our hearts are being prepared to receive the blessings that follow hardship. It is also a reminder that Allah never burdens a soul beyond its capacity. And even in moments of uncertainty, He is guiding us toward ease, providing direction in ways that may not be immediately obvious. Another subtle but powerful sign is the strengthening of relationships. During trials, sometimes people distance themselves, and loneliness can feel overwhelming. Yet, as relief approaches, we often notice renewed connections with friends, family, or community members. Support begins to appear in forms we might not have expected, and we may find that the people who truly care are standing by us. These signs are a reflection of Allah's mercy and a reminder that He surrounds us with helpers and blessings, even when we cannot immediately see them. It is important to recognize and cherish these moments, as they indicate that the test is nearing its end and that the period of support and ease is beginning. At times, the signs of ease also come in the form of emotional and spiritual shifts. Anxiety may lessen, fear may begin to fade, and a sense of peace may slowly enter the heart. These are not coincidences, they are gifts from Allah, signaling that the storm is passing and that relief is on the horizon. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances, it comes from Allah's presence within the heart. When we notice this change, we should hold on to it, nurture it through prayer, gratitude, and continued reliance on Allah, because it is a sign that our patience has been recognized and that the reward of ease is approaching. It is also essential to reflect on past trials and how they were resolved. Often, Allah's signs of ease mirror patterns from previous experiences where relief followed hardship. By remembering how previous difficulties were lifted, the believer gains hope and reassurance that the current test will also conclude with mercy. This reflection strengthens faith and allows the heart to remain resilient, reminding us that Allah is always faithful to His promises. My dear brothers and sisters, these signs of ease are subtle, gentle, and sometimes easily overlooked, but they are profound reminders of Allah's mercy. They teach us that no test is permanent, no hardship is endless, and no heart that remains steadfast in patience and faith is left without reward. By being attentive to these signs, we not only recognize the approaching relief, but also cultivate gratitude, strengthen our connection to Allah, and prepare ourselves to receive the blessings that follow. So, as you navigate your challenges, open your heart to these signals of ease. Look for the small victories, the moments of clarity, the subtle shifts in your spirit, and the unexpected support around you. Trust that Allah is guiding you toward relief, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. Relief is coming, and with awareness, patience, and gratitude, you will recognize it when it arrives. Your test is ending, and your reward is on the horizon. One of the most profound and transformative practices a believer can cultivate is gratitude, even in the midst of hardship. Life, by its very nature, presents trials and challenges, and while it is human to feel pain, frustration, or sorrow during difficult times, Islam teaches us that gratitude is not limited to moments of ease and abundance. True gratitude is a conscious choice to recognize the blessings in our lives regardless of the surrounding circumstances. It is a recognition that every trial carries wisdom, every difficulty holds a hidden benefit, and that Allah's mercy surrounds us even when we cannot immediately perceive it. When we face hardship, our hearts naturally focus on what is missing or what has gone wrong. Perhaps we have lost a loved one, struggled financially, faced illness, or endured betrayal. These experiences can weigh heavily on our hearts and minds, and it is easy to fall into despair. But the practice of gratitude in hardship shifts our perspective. Instead of allowing pain to dominate our vision, gratitude encourages us to notice the aspects of our lives that remain intact, the small blessings that continue to exist, and the subtle signs of Allah's mercy that surround us daily. It is in this awareness that the believer begins to transform suffering into spiritual growth. The Quran reminds us repeatedly of the importance of gratitude, even in the face of challenges. Allah says, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor." Ibrahim 14:7. This verse is remarkable because it applies universally. Gratitude is not conditional on ease or comfort. It is a quality that, when practiced sincerely, brings blessings even amidst trials. Gratitude does not eliminate difficulties, but it allows us to face them with a heart anchored in faith, trust, and hope. By acknowledging the blessings we still possess, whether it is our health, the ability to breathe, the provision of sustenance, or the love of family and friends, we open the door for Allah's continued mercy and guidance. One of the profound ways gratitude manifests in hardship is by helping us reframe the purpose of our trials. Difficulties are not meaningless, they are opportunities for growth, purification, and spiritual elevation. Hardship teaches patience, strengthens character, and draws us closer to Allah. When we are grateful for the lessons embedded within our challenges, we begin to see our struggles not as punishments, but as gifts in disguise. Each moment of discomfort becomes a chance to refine our hearts, to release attachment to worldly comforts, and to cultivate reliance upon Allah. The believer who practices gratitude sees hardship not as an end, but as a bridge toward greater strength and deeper connection with the Creator. Gratitude also transforms our relationship with ourselves and others during trying times. When we recognize the blessings we still possess, our hearts become lighter and we are less likely to succumb to resentment, envy, or bitterness. We begin to appreciate the support of family, friends, and community, and we become more inclined to give back, help others, and share what we have. This outward expression of gratitude amplifies its impact, creating a cycle of goodness and mercy that benefits both ourselves and those around us. A grateful heart during hardship is not a passive heart. It is active, resilient, and full of faith. Moreover, gratitude in the face of adversity strengthens our reliance on Allah. When we acknowledge that every blessing, every moment of ease, and even every challenge comes from Him, we cultivate a sense of trust in His wisdom and timing. This trust brings peace to our hearts. Even when circumstances are uncertain or difficult, it allows us to pray with sincerity, seek guidance with humility, and maintain hope even when the path seems unclear. Gratitude acts as a shield against despair and negativity. It is a reminder that Allah is always near, that His plans are perfect, and that every difficulty carries a lesson meant for our ultimate good. It is important to note that gratitude does not mean suppressing our emotions or denying the reality of pain. Feeling sadness, frustration, or grief is natural and human. Islam does not demand that we ignore these feelings. Rather, it calls on us to balance our emotions with recognition of Allah's blessings and mercy. We can mourn, we can cry, and we can feel the weight of our struggles. But we can also consciously choose to say, Alhamdulillah, for what remains in our lives, for the lessons we are learning, and for the mercy that surrounds us even in the darkest moments. The practice of gratitude also brings perspective. When we compare our lives to those who are truly less fortunate, we often realize how much we have to be thankful for, even amidst our trials. This perspective softens the heart, reduces complaints, and nurtures contentment. It reminds us that our suffering, though real and significant, is accompanied by blessings that we might otherwise overlook. Each small blessing, a roof over our heads, food on the table, moments of health, the ability to worship, or even the simple capacity to breathe, is a reason to be grateful. And each reason to be grateful is a reminder that relief is on the way. Finally, gratitude in hardship connects us directly to Allah. It strengthens our faith, reinforces our patience, and opens our hearts to His guidance. When we cultivate this habit, we begin to notice signs of ease, opportunities for growth, and moments of mercy that might otherwise go unnoticed. Gratitude transforms the heart, turning pain into a catalyst for spiritual elevation, and making even the most difficult trials a source of hope and joy. My dear brothers and sisters, never underestimate the power of gratitude, especially during hardship. Practice it consistently, even in the smallest ways, and watch how it transforms your perspective, your heart, and your relationship with Allah. A grateful heart in the midst of trials is a heart full of faith, patience, and hope. A heart that will witness Allah's mercy, feel His nearness, and experience the relief that comes after every test. Hold on to gratitude, for it is a key that opens the doors of ease and a light that guides us through the darkness of difficulty. One of the greatest challenges in life is waiting. Waiting for relief, waiting for solutions, waiting for justice, or waiting for our prayers to be answered. In moments of difficulty, the human heart often struggles with impatience, questioning why hardship continues or why relief has not yet arrived. Yet Islam teaches us that the timing of every event, every blessing, and every challenge in our lives is perfectly orchestrated by Allah. His wisdom is absolute, and His timing is flawless, even when we do not understand it. Faith in Allah's timing is not merely a passive acceptance of circumstance. It is a profound trust that Allah's plan is perfect, that every trial has a purpose, and that every moment of delay carries within it mercy and wisdom. The heart of this faith lies in understanding that Allah is Al-Khabir, the all-aware, and Al-Hakim, the all-wise. He knows what we do not, and He sees the full picture of our lives, past, present, and future. What may seem like delay, injustice, or misfortune to us is often part of a greater plan that we cannot yet perceive. By placing our trust in His timing, we align ourselves with His wisdom, finding peace even when circumstances are confusing or challenging. This trust is not easy. It requires patience, reflection, and surrender of the ego, which often wants immediate answers and immediate solutions. But those who cultivate faith in Allah's timing discover a profound sense of calm and resilience because they recognize that every event is unfolding according to divine wisdom. Faith in timing also helps us navigate disappointment. Life rarely unfolds exactly as we expect. We make plans, set goals, and pray for certain outcomes. But Allah, in His infinite knowledge, may have a better path in store. Sometimes our desires are delayed because Allah is protecting us from what may harm us, or He is preparing us for a greater blessing that we cannot yet see. The Quran reminds us of the story of Prophet Joseph, who endured betrayal, false accusations, and imprisonment. To the human eye, it seemed that his life was full of suffering and injustice. Yet, because he maintained his faith and trust in Allah's timing, he eventually rose to a position of power and honor, and all the delays and trials he endured served a greater purpose in Allah's plan. This story is a timeless reminder that patience and trust in divine timing can transform apparent setbacks into extraordinary triumphs. Another aspect of faith in timing is understanding that relief and success often come when we are spiritually and emotionally ready to receive them. Allah, in His wisdom, knows the state of our hearts better than we do. Relief may be delayed until we have gained the patience, humility, and insight necessary to handle the blessings we have asked for. Sometimes, if ease were to come too soon, we might misuse it, take it for granted, or fail to appreciate its value. By trusting Allah's timing, we accept that every delay has a lesson, every pause in our journey has a purpose, and every moment of waiting is an opportunity for growth, reflection,